Well, I wonder how you try to comfort people. When my children sometimes need comforting or consoling, I can try any number of things. Maybe I'll try to hold them, sometimes listen to them. Maybe I'll just try and distract them with something. But I must confess, I've never tried what Jesus does here with his disciples. Jesus seeks to comfort his disciples in this passage we've just read by telling them of his own approaching death. That is very bizarre when you think about it, isn't it? But that's what he means when he says here, I am going to prepare a place for you. Jesus is speaking there to his disciples of his approaching death. Jesus is convinced that actually, as bizarre as it sounds, when his disciples learn about his death, and especially about what it means, this is exactly the thing that will comfort their troubled hearts. In fact, he's convinced that if we get this, it's also what will comfort our hearts most as well. And however strange you think that sounds, experience teaches us that there's got to be something in this, hasn't there? I mean, scores and scores of Christians down the ages have in fact found comfort in exactly this. How else has the cross, which is a symbol of execution, become a symbol of hope around the world? Whether we think of a single simple cross necklace or the British Red Cross on the side of a vehicle driving into a disaster zone, the cross, a symbol of the death of Jesus, has become a symbol of hope to those who are troubled. So then, what comfort can Jesus possibly hope to give by his death? Well, Jesus says here his death is to be a comfort because by it he goes to prepare a place for us. And through it he will bring us to be with him. You see, in this way, Jesus' death is different from every other death. Jesus, through his death, was a trailblazer. He set out the path, cleared the way. He went ahead of us, faced down death, and as he rose to new life, he actually killed death. In many respects, it wouldn't have looked like that. It wouldn't have looked very victorious at all. After all, he died as a criminal on a Roman cross outside a city. But in his death, Jesus was going ahead of his disciples, preparing the way, preparing a place for them. But Jesus actually goes on to say that he's even more than a trailblazer. He claims not only to prepare the way for them, he actually says that he is the way. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. The way to God, the truth about God, and in him is life with God. And it's through his death that he makes it possible for all his disciples to receive all of that. Jesus is saying here, he is inviting his disciples, inviting us to come to him with our troubled hearts. He's saying, I really can offer you all this. I really can comfort your troubled hearts. Come to me. Stick with me. Jesus' first disciples, those who knew him best, became convinced that he was right. That as bizarre as it sounds, in his death there is great hope. He really is the way, the truth, and the life. So where will we find comfort for our troubled hearts. I'd encourage all of us this afternoon, if we haven't before, to find out for ourselves, to get to know Jesus, to receive his hope, his comfort. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God. Believe also in me. Amen.